everyone, welcome to your orientation session. Now, those who don't know me, I am Sianshu Budhia and I am your faculty, mentor, trainer, whatever you want to call me for your ATX subject. Guys, June is gone, right? Now what you are having upfront is your September attempt. Correct? Now what is the purpose of joining for the session today is to have a clear picture of like how you should be proceeding ahead, how you should be setting up targets for you, because now you have September in front of you. Correct? So now you have to be very clear for the next 2-3 months, 2.5 months, how you should be taking your steps so that you are able to not just ace the exam but achieve the target that you are setting. So that is why I will not call this session as an orientation session. Rather, I will call this session as a target setting session. Yes. Let's talk about a cricket match, right? When two teams in team A and team B, they go for playing a match at a stadium. When team A plays, they have some target in their mind. Okay, the batsmen of team A will enter the match with the target in their mind that they aim to give to the opposing team. Correct? Let's say they had targeted that they would be achieving a target score of 400 and they end up scoring 360. Would they be very satisfied with their target? No. But they tried their level best to achieve 400 and that gives them a sort of a satisfaction. Team B is also working towards achieving the target only. And that target is the target which is set by team A. So ultimately what you find is every area of your, ACCA, every time that you take up a book, you are reading it, you are studying it, you are solving questions to achieve the target. So it is very important, my friends, that you have a very clear-cut target. I hope I'm making myself clear. And with this introduction, guys, I want to ask you a simple question. Am I clear? My video is clear. My audio is clear. I hope there are no challenges in listening to me. Put it in the chat box if it is absolutely crystal clear. Great, thanks. Now, moving forward, what is important is, now we have discussed about the target setting. So guys, it is very clear that you set your target. Now, when I say target, I don't intend to tell you that you have to set a target of, let's say, 80. You have to set a target of 60. You have to set a target of 70. That is an individual target. So today only, after the session, there has to be a clear picture of a paper in front of the wall that you face every day. Put a target there. Let's see, I want to set a target of a rank. I will write on a piece of paper, I want to achieve a rank. Okay, India rank, global rank, whatever you want, paste it on the wall and you should see it every day. The target will reaffirm, and no pressure you need of anybody else, but the target will tell you that you have to work towards it every day. It can be target of clearing, it can be any target, but this is the first task that you are going to do today after you have done with this session. Clear? So I'm sure And any of you, those who set a clear target, you can click that picture, tag me, and just share it with me so that I know that yes, you are working towards that goal. And I have followed it in my student days, even sorry, even when I got the second highest score in India, then also in one of my CA papers as well. So then also I had the target set in front of me in the wall. So do that, and I'm telling you, half of your war is already won. Okay, now let's proceed. So now, and anytime anyone has any points to ask, any queries, I mean, feel free. This is your session. So you can ask me anything that you have in mind. Okay. Now, when I talk about how you will be acing in your September exams, how you should be progressing ahead, what should be your roadmap towards the September exam. I've jotted down few points and I feel that they should be considered when you're doing your preparation. Now, one disclaimer I would like to give you, that this is not a typical orientation session where I would be, discussing the classes, the timings, and all. I want to, even the students who are doing self study or you are doing classes, but this is a typical roadmap that has to be followed by each one of you. Okay, so that your success in September exams is like fixed. Okay, it's sealed. For that, this roadmap is essential. Now let's move forward. So what is the right time to start? Now, this is a typical question, especially considering that most of you are working. This is a typical question asked, ma'am, when should we start? Like, should we start now only, or is it too early to start? Should we start by June end? Should we start by midweek of July? Or when should we actually do the start point of our syllabus areas? Then people, please understand that rankers are not born differently. The ones who ace the exam in first attempt, they don't do anything different apart from the fact that they are sincere and regular. So when you should be starting with your prep today only, start right away. Okay, start right away. You just have to be consistent and regular. I am not saying that you have to study for like 4 hours a day, 6 hours a day, 8 hours a day. Make the maximum usage of the time that you have. Let's say you are a working professional and you are working for, okay, you are working for, let's say, 10 hours, 8 to 10 hours a day. Then if I tell you to, take out 4 hours a day, that becomes quite difficult. So why don't you start with maybe taking on 1.5 hours a day and then gradually increase it to 2 hours a day. Okay, so anywhere if you study between 1.5 hours or 2 hours a day also, and that is like a dedicated study, that is sufficient. This is when your weekdays. In your weekends, try to extend the time. Okay, try to extend the time as much as you can. So when is the starting day? Starting date is today only. You don't have to wait for like 10 days for your month ends, quarterly ends, for other targets to be achieved. No, you just have to start today only, so that slowly, gradually, you will be holding the syllabus. It will not rush away and you are not in a panic zone towards the end period before the exams. Okay, clear? Now, one adding to it, the right time to start, I am sure you all are aware of your exam days, because in September this quarter, fortunately, you have got some days like a grace days, meaning to say typically your exams start by 1st of June, for example, but in September your exams are starting by 7th of September, and incidentally your ATX exam will fall on 9th of September. So typical to the normal schedule of ACCA, you are getting kind of a week a grace that is available to you. So plan your studies in a way that you are utilizing those 7 days also, right? And utilize them more towards revision and practices. And so start today only and schedule your study accordingly. Now, The next question which I typically get from ATX students, that those are generally have covered their professional qualifications also, like their CA, their CS, CFA, or MBAs or other qualifications they have, and because of which they have got exemption, right? So this is a very essential point for ATX students, that when they are enjoying exemptions, ma'am, do we need the basics of taxes knowledge, or just by joining in the ATX and studying the additional portions, because we have already studied Indian taxes, then will it really make a difference? I would say yes. Why? Because what you are studying here is not India taxes. You are not studying here Indian taxes. You are studying here UK taxes. So then, do you have a background knowledge of UK taxes? Then again, I get a query and they say that, ma'am, I've been working in UK taxes. And when I ask you, are you working in all the areas? Are you touching on all the domains of UK taxes? The answer is no, because then they say that, ma'am, we are working for individuals or we are working for corporations. But what about the other areas? Income tax is not just how do you file the return, but the background understanding of law is also very essential. So, ma'am, do I need to know the basics of UK taxes? Yes, you need to know the basics of UK taxes. Then, how will I be able to study them? If you join classes, I will talk about it later, but the classes already have the UK basics taxes embedded in the syllabus. Okay, so you really don't have to search for any other material, any other data. But let's say you are doing a self study, or maybe you want to know typically that if I'm going for ATX, from where should I study the basics? Take the F6 book and study from there. That's the best source. No shortcuts, because basics, once you're clear with, then your additional portions becomes much more easier to clear, because if your base is strong, then anything that I tell you additionally or anything that you study additionally is always a continuation of those basics, right? So then it is not at all difficult to digest, not at all. Now, ma'am, how much expansive is the syllabus? So for that, I think I can take you quickly to the book. Okay, just to give you an understanding of how expansive is your UK tax syllabus. So here, I hope the book is absolutely clear, absolutely, clearly visible to everybody. As you can see, I've marked down these chapters and they typically go on till 26. So approximately 27, 28, because I have some subparts also in between. And this is the syllabus area. Okay, now is it really expansive? Yes, because you are covering here not just the basics. There is an implied understanding of basics. On that, we have an additional portions covered. So, ma'am, is ATX like very difficult to clear? You already know, or if you don't know, I'm telling you, among all the papers in the strategic level, ATX has got the highest pass rate. So then the results testify that it is not very difficult to clear. So then what is the challenge? The challenge is the expansiveness of the syllabus. And how do we counter it? That obviously I will be telling you along the way as we will be progressing ahead in the syllabus. Okay. But yes, it has got almost the maximum of the syllabus, but the pass rates are the best. That implies that what you need to know is absolute clarity of the concepts, and then the application is not challenging. Okay, now so let's go back. So syllabus, how much expansive? I think I've been able to tell you that yes, it is an expansive syllabus. I really cannot say that it is not expensive, that it is a very brief syllabus. It is expansive, but the best part is it has got calculations involved, and it has got the concepts that are not difficult to understand. Once you're clear with those concepts, then the application becomes like very smooth. Okay, now any questions so far? You can ask me, guys. You can be absolutely comfortable in asking those queries. Any questions, any doubts? Okay, now I take up the next portion. Time devotion every day that I've already told you. So please, and also one thing that I've always followed in my student days as well, that don't go by quantity of time. Go by the quality of time that you can spend every day. If you're too tired from work and you can only give 1 hour a day, then don't think, oh, ma'am discussed that I have to give 1.5 hours a day and you're extremely tired to give that. Don't do that. Give only 1 hour a day, but give it very concrete. One thing has to be there, that it has to be a part of your habit. So every day, just like you work, just like you do any other activity, you have to do consistent studies. Be it 1 hour, be it 2 hours, that is as per your time availability. Please devote that time. Clear? Absolutely. Weekends, please stretch it. Weekends, please stretch it. So maybe you can take up to 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours also a day, as you are comfortable with. Yes, I am going to be discussing the pattern of syllabus as well. So now my next topic is exam paper pattern. So let's see the pattern, how your pattern of ATX looks like. How does the ATX pattern looks like? So here on my screen, I am discussing the paper pattern. Now, unlike SBR or the other papers, ATX almost see strategic level papers, they are typically the papers with long form questions. So that is a common point with all strategic level questions. But ATX has some good pointers also that I would highlight. Effectively, if I tell you guys, you are not giving an exam for 100 marks. Yes, you heard me right. You are not giving an exam for 100 marks. You are only giving exam for 80 marks. I know your question will be, ma'am, how you can say that I'm just giving an exam for 80 marks and not 100 marks? This is simply because just look at the paper pattern. So here you will have two sections, section A, section B. Okay, section A has got only one question of 50 marks. Section B will have two questions, 25 marks each. In total, you'll have only three questions. Time allowed is 3 hours 15 minutes. That is typical time for all the strategic level papers. So time allowed is 3 hours 15 minutes. You have one question for 50 marks, another two questions for 25 marks. Now, why I said that you are effectively writing only for 80 marks, because the 50 marker question has 10 marks for professional skills. And for skills, you don't have to write anything extra. You just have to write in the way that their skills desire. And that we will understand when we move into the syllabus. So when we do questions, I would be guiding, I would be highlighting, like this is a skill. So you have to write the questions in this way to gain the skills marks. Got it? So skills marks are free, because if you write the answer in a proper format, proper way, proper working, and you're done. You get your this 10 marks like easily. You don't have to really do any hard efforts for it. Technically, you are only writing in this 50 marker question for 35 marks. Why? Because this 35 marks is towards your technical marks, where you are maybe tested on the areas of variety of taxes, be it like IHT, be it like corporation tax, individual tax, VAT, and all these testing areas, stamp taxes. Okay, so you will be tested for that area. So this is a technical marks, yes, that you need your knowledge to be absolutely clear so that you can apply it well. And I say that this ethics free marks, 5 marks are also free. You know why? Because if you study SBR, you study ethics. In every strategic paper, generally some portions of ethics are covered. So ATX is no different. You also have the same ethics covered only here, and bit more touching to the ATX syllabus. That's all. So your base of ethics almost remains same. So you really don't have to put in much efforts if you have already given other strategic level papers, right? So 10 plus 5, 15, effectively you can gain like easily. But of course, in order to gain the 10 marker, you need the 35 marker also to be written in a particular format, particular way, particular clarity. So 35 and 10 are interrelated, right? But if your calculations are going wrong, but you have explained it well, but you have written it in the proper format, your discussions are going in the right way, 10 marks is very easy to get. And if your calculations go wrong, you will just lose some marks just for the wrong calculation, because you get it step marking, right? So you will not lose the entire question. So getting high marks in 50 marker, very, very comfortable. Okay, of course, conceptual clarity is the base for it. Let's go to section B questions. Two questions of 25 marks each. Every 25 marker will have a 5 marker for skill. So again, effectively, one single question of 25 marks, you are writing for what? How many marks? You are effectively writing only for 20 marks. You write this well and you get your 5 marker like a free bonus, right? So when you earn salary, you get bonus in a year. When you do this question right, you get 5 marks as a bonus. Two questions, 10 marks. So in total, in the paper, you got 20 marks only for skills. So effectively, you have just written the answer for 80 marks. If I remove 5 marks for ethics also, technical asking is only 75 marks. Now, if you're technically clear, do you think it is difficult? I don't think that. So you just have to be absolutely technically clear to ensure that you grab these marks comfortably. Okay, now the 4 skills are tested. Of course, we will take it in detail when we do these questions in the class. So, but of course, when we are in the class, you would get all these notes and understandings like how you should be answering the questions, in what format, what skills are needed, and etc. 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 Okay. Now, I hope I've answered your query. The one who asked me about the paper pattern. Any other questions also, just feel free to put it. Okay. Now, let's go back and discuss more. So, exam paper pattern also discussed. So, next time when somebody asks you, what is your ATX marks that you are really targeting, say that I am targeting out of 75. Because if I write this 75 well, I get my 25. Correct? So you are essentially setting a target to get 75. Now, is it achievable? Well, I'll come back to your query, Ravi. Okay? So, Ravi, I will come back to your query just in a while. So, just hold it for a bit. Now, let's proceed. Which Finance Act will be applicable for your September exams? Be very clear, because I still receive queries where the questions are raised by students and they're not clear which FA to follow. Okay, so we will follow FA 2025. Till when it is applicable? It is applicable for your all exam attempts till March 27. So till March 27, you don't have to follow any other FA, only FA 25. Okay, and just follow this. Absolutely, yes. Now I come to certain points that you effectively cannot miss to have the perfect answers done, to have wonderful September exam and to achieve high scores. Okay, so for that, I just want your attention here. This is a roadmap that I want to give you all, and make sure that you follow these. Number one, do we need understanding of the concepts, ma'am, or do we need to memorize? Because some students, they come to me and they say that, ma'am, I've heard the taxes is all about learning. So it's basically ratifying everything. So I just need to learn the taxes, right? Can you learn like 500 pages? I mean, as a human being, I practically cannot. So why do you need learning when you can have conceptual clarity? But is there any area in taxes that needs to be learned? Yes. Yes. There is one area of taxes that you need to learn. And what is that? Which is that area? That area of taxes that you need to memorize is due dates. Because sadly, due dates do not have any conceptual clarity to discuss. So here you need to know the due dates, that by what period the detail needs to be filed to HMRC and all that. So at all the points I've highlighted those due dates, so that is easier for you to remember. Okay, so due dates, yes, you need to remember. And any other thing, yes, you need to remember the penalty rates which are not given to you in the exam, because in your exam you will get lot of data from the ACCA team. Yes, lot of data will be there that you don't need to learn, okay, that you don't need to remember those figures, but there's certain penalty figures that are not given and that can be tested, so that yes, you need to remember only those. Apart from this, any other thing you need to remember? No. Everything will be understood by way of conceptual clarity, because you cannot learn everything. So have hold of it. You have to prepare yourself not just for 2.5 months, but so that when you use it in your practical life also, when you use it while you're in your employment or self-employment, these things come to you like this. Okay, so we will make sure in the class that yes, there is absolute understanding of the concept, and I always use the term very famously that we will always work towards having 100% crystal clarity. 100% crystal clarity of the concepts. Okay, now second step in your roadmap is use of ACCA resources in the preparation. Are they really useful? Are they really useful to use the ACCA resources which are provided to you incidentally very free? Yes, ACCA is not charging for it. So is this useful to use? Because some things that come free, we always assume that it is not going to be very useful. But on the contrary, these resources are very, very useful. Yes, they are very useful. So which are these resources? I will show you that as well, but I can just highlight it. Like number one, don't forget to go through the technical articles. Don't forget to go through the examiner report. Okay, past papers. Then don't forget to go through your mocks given to you. And another very useful resource is Study Hub. So these are those top 5 resources that you cannot afford to miss. So are they really helpful? Yes, they are. They are very helpful. Don't afford to miss it. So whether you're doing self-study, whether you're taking classes, you have to ensure that these are taken care for. Now, when you are there in the class, I will also tell you how these are taken care for. Okay? Now let's proceed. Application of concept. You know concepts, you've done the paper, you are very, very solid, kind of very, very comfortable, very, very sound with the concepts. But what about application? Now this is a practical problem I'm telling you, especially with the ones that are really working like continuously. You don't get holidays. If you don't plan from today, then by the time you have 15 days left for the exam, you panic and you say, ma'am, my revisions are pending. Ma'am, I've not done any practice of the question. I was just going through the study material. I was just reading that. So do you think that if you don't do it in regular breaks, your revision, your practice, then this exam requires that effort? Understand, it's a professional exam, right? So you need to put in that effort. so that you don't panic towards the end. Have a regular practice. Every concept that you study, every concept that you understand, make sure that you are practicing regularly for it. Okay, so you should have every practice of the questions very regularly, just like you will be regularly doing your study practice. Okay, now for this I generally give a tip to the students. Keep your weekdays, when you are already occupied with lot of your office pressures and the other pressures, keep your weekdays to go through your study text. Okay, that means you're studying the concepts, you're understanding it, you're getting hold of it. And and weekends, the weekend is the time when you are going to do your self studies, so that time do enough question practice. Always keep your weekends for question practice and weekdays to study the text, to understand the concepts and get in the concepts. So remember that your weekdays should be for studying the concepts and your weekends should be for practice. By this time, you will not over pressurize yourself and you will be studying in a consistent way. Okay? Remember, every mark counts. Very important line. Every mark counts. Just understand the pain of a student who got stuck at 49. So if you think that I will leave this, I will leave this, I will leave this, because what if I will just do 1 marks, 2 marks, 3 marks? What if you end up at 47, 48, 49? So remember, every mark counts. So don't leave any area of the syllabus. Every inch of the syllabus you have to cover, and you have to practice also properly. Clear? Right? Now, past paper practice. Past paper practice. Is it negotiable? I use the term, is it negotiable? Because I'm telling you the practical areas. It comes towards the end that you realize, oh, I've not practiced any paper. Oh, I never solved any paper on the CBE platform. So is it really essential? Because many of you are already done with some of the other professional degrees while the time that you're doing ATX. Many of you. So you have a presumption. I already did my CA, no? So I've done questions over there. I've done my CFA, I've done questions over there. I've done other degree, I've done questions over there. So even if I don't do it on the CBE platform, how would it matter? It would matter, because every exam has a different paper pattern, different way of writing, and CBE platform is not a very easily handleable platform unless you practice on it. So you have to make sure that you are doing all. I don't write even 1, 2. I say that all past paper practice on the CBE platform. I know one question that may be popping up, ma'am, is it practically possible? Yes. Of the rankers that, when I spoke with my students who got ranks, one point was very common, that they did enough practice on the platform and past papers were technically covered by all of them. Sincerely. Okay, and yes, so please make sure that there is no negotiation with it. Even if you're doing self-study, you have to make sure that you are doing all papers question practice. Progress assessment, very essential. On all areas of the syllabus, you have to assess regularly your progress. Okay, so you have to divide your syllabus into certain blocks, and after every block, revise the syllabus that you have already covered, and then make a note of the progress. How is your standing? How is your standing after this particular block? How is your comfort level after this? Maybe you have attempted a question paper, maybe you have attempted many questions. How is the comfort over them? So maintain your progress charts regularly. Okay, this is for you, not for me, not for anybody else, but for you. You have to maintain that progress chart so that you know your consistent progress, right? How you are working consistently towards the target that you set today only. Okay, so that progress achievements, the progress chart is very essential for you to set up. Now, mocks practice and evaluation, I mean, highly essential. Just like past papers, CBE platform also has a lot of mocks. your practice exams, your mocks, your specimens. So can you ignore them? I'm sure now your answer is no. You know the importance of it. So you cannot ignore. But of course, I see that minimum two have to be attempted. If you're not having much of a time, minimum please attempt two mocks on the CB platform. Out of it, generally one is the pre-September mock that even we will be discussing in detail. So those self-study students also make sure that you are doing these two mocks like minimum. You can do all, but minimum two has to be done. Done means not reading. One student came to me very sharp. Huh? He said that, ma'am, I've done all the past papers. I said, okay, send me your answers for evaluation. He said, no, ma'am, I don't have any answers. I said, like, you told me you've done all the mocks, all the past papers. So, how you've completed it if you don't have answers with it? He said, ma'am, I took two systems. On one system or mobile phone probably he had. So on one system I opened the question. I kind of framed the answers in my mind because I did not have time to write, and writing becomes too time consuming. So on the second device I checked the answer. So like this I completed all the past papers. I said okay fine, but this is not the right way to do. I am not saying that 100% you can do all the papers by yourself. One or two papers like this, okay. But initially you have to write because the writing is a challenge. We're not habitual of writing, guys. And writing on a computer system, that too, which is not very user friendly, can become a big challenge. So writing, doing practice of the questions yourself, doing it yourself by not just reading it, highly essential. Minimum two, you have to make sure that you are doing it by hook or by crook. You have to do minimum two. Any questions that you have to ask till that point, till this point? Anyone has anything to ask, just feel free to ask me. Okay. So now let me answer your questions also, that how can I help you? Because you will say, ma'am, you gave all the listings, you told us that what is to be done, this. But how it is to be done? Because what if it is looking too difficult, too clumsy, then how it is to be done? So for that, okay, for that and Ravi's query, I would now be answering your questions. Okay. Now, number one, how can I help you? So let's go back to every point and I'll tell you how can I help you. At the classes that we will be having, the first day was today only orientation, and the schedule is already shared with the students also have joined the group. That is a planner given, and this planner is not just for me. This planner is also for you to track your performance. Okay, there's a breakup given for the live and the recorded sessions. Yes, you heard me right. We will have a mix of recorded lectures and live. But why this way? Many times students ask me, ma'am, why this way? Because I've seen that when the students are working, attending regular life sometimes become difficult for them, and then they miss out. And when they miss out on like two classes on a continuous basis, third class they have a fear to attend because they feel, oh, I'm not gone through the lectures. So therefore, at regular intervals, based on the importance of the topics and also the changes that were there in FA25, I have kept live lectures. And those live lectures dates are also given to you well in advance so that you can plan your work, plan your day, plan your schedule. They are supposedly going to be remaining same that way, the way only that has been shared with you all, except for if there's any contingencies. Otherwise they're going to remain same like that. Recorded lectures are there, so that those lectures you can start with, you can start going through them, you can start watching them, doing the questions. Study material, question bank already uploaded on the app. Hard copies will be delivered to you sooner. So that means everything is in the progress. You can start working right away, right? There is no hindrance. And to add on to it, every week, I told you about this point, right? Practice is very essential, and I know how much difficult it becomes for everyone to take out time and do the practice. Sometimes you want to practice, but then you get stuck in questions and you get like, how to proceed? I'm just stuck, I'm blank, I don't know. So to help you that, in addition to the questions that are already there in recorded sessions, we will be having live practice classes. And when will they be? They will be there, they will be held on weekdays. With the simplest reason that I want your weekends to be there for yourself, where you're giving in all the efforts to do a lot of practice. Because how much practice, I mean, the questions that I do in the class will be more effective once you are also doing questions in at your end. So use your weekends to the most, so that you are doing utmost question practice for that. Okay, so now here, when is your live sessions for practice sessions? Your live practice sessions will be Thursday and Friday, 2 days, 7 p.m. IST. These are the timings of the days for your live lectures for practice sessions. Okay. Now for the topics that will be taken live, the dates have already been communicated with the planner. So planner is already given to you, so that you guys are in line with that planner, right? Now, let me just take one by one your pointers. Ma'am, how can we have the understanding or the memorizing? So I will make sure that in the lectures, in the live sessions, in the practice sessions that we have, we will have 100% crystal clarity. This is a motto that I followed while I was a student, while I'm a trainer, and I've been taking ATX for I think close to 5 years now, at least 5 years. Even I don't remember it since when I've been taking ATX. Okay, and we have had a lot of ranks, 100% results. So the backup of it was 100% crystal clarity that you will get in your sessions. And if you have doubts, then you'll have one query session also. Yes, in addition to the live sessions, query session will be on Sunday 11 a.m. IST. Right? So you are studying on Saturday, you have queries that have taken place over the week. Put it in or put it to me on Sunday when we have the query session. What if, ma'am, we have some emergency queries? Yeah, I call them emergency queries. For that, you cannot wait for even a day. Then put it to me on WhatsApp, I will resolve it. Okay, preferably the query session. If it is too emergent, then put it on WhatsApp. So you have 100% WhatsApp support also available to you. Now, memorizing the concept, how can I help you here? So I will give you a summary of all the due dates, penalties in one sheet. Yes, this will be the summary file that I will curate and I am going to give to you, so that you just go through it once a day and you're done with the memorizing. You don't have to look for the portions from every chapter. I will consolidate it, make one file and give it to you. Right? So your memorizing becomes much easier. Now, next thing, use of ACCA resources, are they embedded in our syllabus? So when the book that you have, the study text, the exam kit, the notes that you have, they are having a summary of, that means I've already gone through, I have taken the important points and included them as notes, point to remember in your book. So these are already covered in your book. But additionally to it also, I will give you a summary of the examiner reports, which is most important when you're writing your answers, when you're writing your exams, you will get that summary as well. Okay, so that we will cover towards almost after the mid end of the portion of the syllabus. but that are already there. How about mocks, ma'am? Mocks are already, the questions are already there in the in the content that I'm providing you. So I'm providing you with the study text, I'm providing you with the question bank. I am also providing you with the summary notes. I will give you a look at it. What are these summary notes? I will tell you. Study Hub covered in your content. So you can see that past papers covered, technical articles are already covered. So overall, everything is covered here. But still on the top of it also, for your individual level, clarity, understanding, you should use these ACCA resources to the fullest. They really, really help you in achieving the highest score. Okay. Now, application of concepts. So now question practice, you already know we have discussed about the live practice sessions where I'll be taking up questions. The topics are already shared with. So which topics will be covered in which practice session is already given to the students for the in the form of a planner. So you know that this day, this time, this topic is covered. You can just cover them well in advance. Okay. Covered past paper practice, ma'am. Will we be having CB platform, question practice also? Of course, yes. Because your paper is only going to be there on platform, CBE, no manual intervention, no pen and paper. Actually, you don't need even a calculator there because everything will be done on Excel. So yes, we will be doing questions on the CBE platform in the class as well. Sorted? Progress assessment, you have already been given with the planner. The planner is a progress tracker. Track your performance against that tracker. Okay. So we will have regular mocks also in between, and accordingly your assessment will be done, based on those mocks as well. So you are having a tracker, you are doing mocks, you are doing practice, you are on track. And will I be evaluating the paper also? Many times students come with this query. Of course, yes, you'll have personal evaluation. That means every student will get their own questions answered feedback. No general feedbacks. If there is any general points, that will be shared as well. But on a personal basis, your one-on-one feedbacks will be shared with you. Okay, so that yes, Mr. A will know that where is your error, Mr. B will know where you are falling in, because two students will have generally different areas where they're getting stuck, right? So improvisation of your own areas is needed there. Clear? Now anything that you have to ask me, you can ask me, but just one more point that I would like to highlight. For materials, for some more additional materials that I keep sharing, join the Telegram channel. Details are already there in the description. Make sure that you follow the channel regularly. Now, in the classes, what we do differently is we go 100% deep dive into the syllabus. So you will get recordings. You will get access to live lectures plus practice sessions. You will get study text, hard copy plus soft copy. Okay, you will get question bank, and I have two question banks. Roughly around 200 questions are covered. So ATX level questions around 150 to 200 is like more than sufficient to achieve, to practice, right? So apart from this, we'll do mocks, we'll do pre-September mock as well. Okay, so question banks, hard copy plus soft copy. You will get my classic summary notes. Why I call them classic summary notes? Because they are like, you're done with your study text. Now you just need the summary notes to revise with. That's all. Yes, it's a full summarized notes. So that you don't have to go to study text again and again. You go through it and the chapter is done with. All the pointers that you need to know from exam perspective are already there in summary notes. In fact, I would like to just share one small point. One of my students just rang me up 2 days back, and he said that, ma'am, I took classes from you like a year back, I cleared, I became ACCA. Now when I'm doing the tax, inquiries at my office, if I get stuck, I open your summary notes for some technical points and it is resolved. I really don't have to look like anywhere else. So he calls my summary notes as a ready reckoner, which even I think they are. So they are more like a ready reckoner for you. Everything at one place. Okay, you get all of this, access to query sessions, access to more materials. I'll share mocks in between, quizzes in between. I mean, lot of content is shared. All of that you will have access. Summary notes will only be soft copy. Okay, summary notes will be available to you in the soft copy, and those have already enrolled, it is already there on the app. Go to the app, you will find the tab, it is already uploaded. Now just to give you a quick view of all this, so this is the study text that you will get. It is a kind of a compiler compiled from various sources. I've tried to compile from all the sources and get the corrects of it. Language I've tried to keep very simple, so it is very simply, it is understandable by you in a simple way. Okay, and you can see the notes. So you will find these notes at various points in the syllabus, exam tip notes. Okay, so that the pointers that you have to really focus on are there. Then you have every chapter apart from the question bank, you will have your question, practice questions also. At the end of every chapter, it's solutions, and accordingly you'll go to second chapter, third chapter, and so on. The formats are also mentioned, the way that it is desired in the exam, and in the same format only we will do questions in the class as well. Now, just to give you a look of the question bank that has been curated. So this is your first question bank, and this is your second question bank. So let's say if we do questions in the class, we solve it also, and not just look into the ways of solution, the steps they needed, the how you can solve it in the most convenient way. So that also we do in the class. This is a question bank too that typically has 50 markers and 25 markers only. So that they're typical, those questions that you just can't miss for your exam. Try to cover every concept, every pointer in these questions, so that you do them and you're done. Okay, apart from this, you just do your past papers, you just do your mocks, and that's all you need. Now just having a look at the summary. So these are the summary notes. So here I give you a summary of what all skills require, also how the formats certain are required, because when you are tested with the communication skills, you need these formats to be there as well. Okay, then every chapter, the summary points are given to you. You go through this and your chapter is done with. Okay. So like these, you will get your summary notes. They are created by me. So they were handwritten. Now I have converted them into the typed notes. All of this will be made available to you. Now, if you want to know more about the classes and anything, you can reach out to me. My WhatsApp number is also shared in the description column, the description site, and though I will just put it here. So if you want to reach out to me for any queries, you can WhatsApp to me on 9158727888. This is my number, only WhatsApp. Okay, only WhatsApp. And to know more about the classes, even for enrollments, you can do WhatsApp or you can call on 84313 84051. Okay, you can do this as well. One more number on which you can do enrollments. So that also I will just share. Just give me a minute. Yeah, so remove this. Use the other number. 9821048476. Okay, use this number for enrollments. Yeah, you have any questions and queries, just ask me. Just put it in the chat box and I will just answer it. Ask your queries, guys. Okay, then if no queries, then as I think we're done with the orientation, we're done with the target setting session. Set your targets, achieve them, given the best of the efforts. Reach out to me for any queries and questions. And yes, we will meet in the class now. So bye bye, take care. And the students who are doing self-study, you are also more than welcome to ask me any queries that you have in relation to the course, in relation to any queries typically relating to ATX. Okay, see you soon then. Bye bye, take care. Till then, have a good time, good day, study well, study very hard, smartly, and achieve your targets. Bye bye. Okay, so you do one thing, you can just reach out to me on WhatsApp. Okay, you have my number, and just reach out to me on WhatsApp. It's a technical glitch probably, and I will just get it sorted. Don't worry. Okay, just reach out to me. Okay, bye bye then. See you. Thank you for joining and listening.